In this video, we are looking at the percent equation. So the idea A is P percent of W can be represented with this equation, A equals P percent times W. Now, I want to point out that percent sign there, right? Because previously, with our proportion, we used A over W equals P over 100. And when you solved for that, P itself was the percent, right? So if you got P equals 80, that would be 80%. Now in this equation, we're saying P percent. So in that case, right, if you said, for example, 80%, then in this equation, we're using 80%, which then needs to be written as a decimal or a fraction. So 0.8 or 80 over 100. So I want you to see that difference. And I've also written this other form of the equation, right? Percent means out of 100. So if we look at this form of the equation, that would be A equals P over 100 times W, which could be simplified to A equals P times W divided by 100. So I want you to see that because you may get confused by this form, the A equals P percent times W. So I wanted you to see that you're also able to use A equals PW divided by 100. So, for example, you can see this in action. 15 is 50% of 30. So that could be written as the equation 15 equals 50% times 30, which then you write that percent as a decimal. 15 equals 0.5 times 30. And of course, we can see that is indeed true. You get 15 equals 15. So let's try a few examples of this. So let's look at this first one, finding a part. So we want to know what number is 24% of 50. So again, that would be A equals 24% times 50. And again, we need to write that percent as either a fraction or a decimal. So we could write A equals 0.24 times 50. And then we're just going to multiply those. 0 times 4 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, and 0 times 0 is 0. 5 times 20, 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, and 5 times 0 plus 1 is 1. So for this one, we get A equals 12. So 12 is 24% of 50. Again, I want you to see that we could also use that other equation, A equals P times W, so 24 times 50 divided by 100. So if you did 24 times 50, you would get 1,200, and then divided by 100, you would get A equals 12. So either way, you get the same result, but I want you to see both methods or both equations work. So P percent times W, which can also be written as PW divided by 100. So two more examples here. What number is 10% of 20? So again, A is equal to 10% times 20. And you can write 10% as a decimal, 0.1. Or you could write it as the fraction 1/10. So let's do 1/10 times 20 this time. And of course, you would get A equals 20 over 10, or A equals 2. So 2 is 10% of 20. Okay, and what number is 150% of 40? So A equals 150% times 40, and again we need to rewrite that percent as a fraction or a decimal. So I will do the decimal 1.5. So A equals 1.5 times 40. Let's show our work over here. That's going to be 60. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 4. So we get A equals 60. So 60 is 150% of 40. Okay, so we can also use this equation to find the percent. So this time we have 9.5 is what percent of 25? So 9.5 would be A equals what percent? So that's P percent times 25. Okay, and again, you could also write that as A equals P times 25, or 25P over 100. So let's do both of those concurrently. So here we've got A, which is 9.5, equals P percent times 25, or 9.5 equals 25P over 100. So here, if we're solving for P, right, in this equation on the left, we would divide both sides by 25. So we have 9.5 divided by 25. We get 0.38 equals P percent, right? Or if we work on this one over here, right, to solve this equation on the right, the first step would be to multiply by 100. So you've got 9.5 times 100, which would be 950 equals 25P. And then we divide both sides by 25. And you would get once again 38. So 38 is equal to P. So what I want you to see here is we have two different things, right? In this equation on the left, we have 0.38 equals P percent. And on the right, we have 38 equals P. So when we use this equation on the right, we have P. So that is the percent, right? 9.5 is 38% of 25. Whereas the equation on the left, we have 0.38 equals P percent, meaning P out of 100. So in this case, we still need to then multiply by 100 to get 38 equals P instead of 0.38 equals P percent. So that's why, especially for finding the percent, I prefer this equation on the right. But as long as you remember to move your decimal twice to get rid of this percent sign, then you'll get the correct answer either way. So let's do another example. 3, so that's A, is what percent, P, of 600, which is W. So 3 equals P percent times 600. Or again, 3 equals P times W, so P times 600 divided by 100. So that would be 3 equals 600P over 100. So again, let's solve both. So on the left, we divide both by 600. You get 3 over 600, which would be, as a fraction, 1 over 200. But we'll go ahead and divide. .005 equals, again, P percent. So we need to multiply by 100 to get 0.5 equals P. Or on the right, you've got 600P over 100. So we can multiply by the reciprocal of 600 over 100 to isolate P. So that would be multiplying by 100 over 600. That would give us, right, we've isolated everything except, well, we've isolated P here, and then we have 300 over 600, which simplifies to 1/2, or 0.5. So we get 0.5 equals P. So 3 is 0.5% of 600. Okay, now finally, finding the whole. So 39 is 52% of what number? So 39 is A, 52 is P, and what number would be the whole? W. So 39 equals 52% times W, or 39 equals 52W over 100. So on the right, we've got 52%. We need to rewrite that as a decimal or fraction, so 0.52 times W, and then we would divide both sides by 0.52. So 39 divided by 0.52, if we move that decimal twice, becomes 3,900 divided by 52. And 52 goes into 390 7 times. That's going to be 364. $52 goes into 260 5 times. That should be exact there. So we get 75. So here we get 75 equals W. So 39 is 52% of 75. And here we have 39 equals 52W over 100. So again, we can multiply by the reciprocal of 52 hundredths, which is 100 over 52. Leaving us with W equals 100 times 39, which is 3,900, divided by 52. You'll notice that's exactly the same as what we ended up doing over here. So we get, once again, 75 equals W. 39 is 52% of 75. All right, one last one. 90, that's A, is 180 P% of what number? So 90 equals 180% of, or times W. So 90 equals 180%. We want to write that as a decimal or fraction. So that would be 1.8 W. And we solve for W by dividing by 1.8. Again, if you're dividing by that decimal 1.8, we need to move our decimal till we have a whole number. So that becomes 900 divided by 18. 18 goes into 90 5 times. And 18 goes into 0 times. So 50 is equal to W. And 90 is 180% of 50.